Hey, I'm Stuart Coates. I do game design at Quantum College.
And I am Vanya Sarakin, and I do animation at Quantum College.
Today we're talking about violence and sexualization in video games.
For my cultural perspectives class.
Yeah. So our first question that we wanted to discuss was, is video game violence the same as real life violence?
No, what do you think?
Well,
you study it, so.
To be honest, I think no. But
and why?
It sort of depends on the context, I guess.
Well, I don't know, like with the violent games I've played, definitely not. Like, I think, referencing some games I actually play, CSGO, they have a lot of blood, but I wouldn't necessarily.
So you gotta, I guess you put it into context. We play a lot of violent video games.
Yeah, we do.
Like Grand Theft Auto is one of the most controversial, violent, sexualized video games ever, and we're gonna talk about that soon. But we play Rust. That's worse than Grand Theft Auto, I would say. Like much worse.
Well, the only thing Rust doesn't have is it doesn't have not blood. It doesn't have drugs, and it doesn't have hookers.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, the only thing Rust has is you kill animals, and I know Peter would be all over that, but.
Yeah.
Well, no, it wouldn't.
So I say that violence in video games is different to violence in real life because, I mean, like I was just saying, I play a lot of violent video games, and I don't have the need to become violent in real life.
Yeah, well, with the presentation someone did with the violence in video games, he actually asked that, and he was like, oh, well, how come me personally, why don't I get affected by violent video games? And one thing he mentioned was that he lived in a good household, and he lived in a good family, he was never bullied, and that's why he doesn't see violence as affecting him. But then when you look at all these other cases, everyone that's actually gone out and committed mass murders, they've always been bullied, and they've always been in horrible families, and yeah.
Well, I'd like to use that to segue to another question that we've got, which is why aren't we affected by violence in gaming? I know that's a little bit further down, but that's what we're talking about. But it's a really good question. Why aren't we affected by violence in gaming? I think it doesn't just come from gaming. In the media, we're very desensitized to violence in any, like, from ancient times, which is what you spoke about in your presentation, to now. Like, ancient violence is far worse than violence than we have now. Like,
it's horrible tortures, and even now people are doing it, and they're still trying to get it out of the system.
And I think we're desensitized to violence as just in general.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we're not affected by violence in gaming at all. Like, the only people that I really see getting affected by violence in gaming is people that are very anti-violence, so a lot of older people and a lot of very younger people.
Well, I don't know, a lot of older people, because I saw the gameplays older people have from Grand Theft Auto.
I watched those.
And they all enjoy just going around and killing people, and they have a laugh about it, because they know it's just a game.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it is.
One of the other questions that we had, and it's very similar to that, was, does it cause the same stomach-curdling effect? So they're almost the same question. Why aren't we affected by violence? And if we are, does it feel the same as real-life violence? If you saw someone getting their head bashed in on the street, would it be the same as seeing it in a video game?
I mean, like with Grand Theft Auto, when you see someone, like you personally, like, when you see someone smoking on the sidewalk, you just run up and hit them in the head.
Yeah.
And then you start stomping on their head. You don't hear the crunch of the bones, and you don't see the head just being kind of squished.
I take it more of a, in video games there's no repercussions.
Yes. Like,
I can do whatever I want, doesn't matter what I do, because in the end I can just turn my game off and that's it.
Yeah.
If you do something like that in real life, there's consequences. Whether it be mental consequences that affect you for the rest of your life, or you go to prison, or you ruin somebody else's life. Like, there's consequences behind everything you do in real life.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about games. You can just act out all these things and you don't get any.
Yeah.
You don't feel the need to be stressed about the game.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you don't need to be stressed about the game, and in doing so, you don't act out any real-world violence as you would play any other game.
So what I wanted to ask was, do you find it more positive or negative?
What, violence in video games?
Yeah.
I find it positive, to be honest.
Is it positive? But I mean, like, if violence in video games really is desensitizing children to violence and gore, do we want that? Do we want them to be desensitized?
Well, firstly, children shouldn't be playing games.
Exactly right. There's a reason that games like that have R ratings. Why do you think that children aren't in violent video games? Like, I played hours and hours of GTA. Sorry if we keep referring to GTA, but it's currently the topic of the week.
It's the topic. It's
and there's no children in that game at all.
No.
Why? Is it drawing the line? Do you think it's crossing the line to be able to kill children? Because I'll just give an example right now.
Oh, wait, no, that's the thing. No, that's the thing. Maybe it's the innocence.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to say that Skyrim has children in it, and when they made the game, you used to be able to kill the children. You could just kill all of them, and then through playtesting, people were like, we don't want this. We don't want to be able to kill children, and so they actually patched the game so that the children were invincible. You couldn't attack them.
Why would you even attack children and then complain about people attacking children?
Exactly. So people must have actually gone to the children and attacked them.
They must
and then
have
said,
killed them.
Why do you let me do this? It's like, well, you chose to do it.
Exactly. You chose to go and kill the child.
Yeah.
So now we shall cover sexualization in video games of both men and women. What about big characters at the moment?
Big characters, as in, like, popular characters?
Yes.
Well, I mean, for women, the first one that comes to my mind is Bayonetta, because it also had a lot of controversy around it.
First one that comes to my mind is Lara Croft. Lara, oh my god.
Yeah.
Lara Croft.
Well, she's changed a lot. Like, you see those pictures where she's sort of decreased in breast size over the last 20 years. And
she has.
Yeah. And now she's a younger person, like she's like 21 or something in the latest game.
21, small babies.
Yeah, and there's a new one coming out. They based the character off the one from the last game, but she's then even slightly less sexualized somehow. At least that's what I read. No, for Lara Croft. Because there's a new Tomb Raider game coming out this year or next year sometime.
Mm-hmm. What's the difference between sexualizing men and women in the games to movies and TV shows?
That's a really good question. And we talked about this the other day. Just because someone's sexualized doesn't mean I have to be attracted to them. And is it possible for me to be attracted to characters that aren't sexualized? Because I think yes. Yeah.
But then again, you would usually always be attracted to the big muscly men, or you would usually be attracted to the big breasted women.
I suppose.
Like, they don't even need to have their faces there.
Yeah.
It's literally just about the body figure.
Yeah. Okay, so can I just say my answer to this?
Yes.
No, I don't think there is a difference between sexualizing in games and movies and TV shows.
Why?
Because sex sells, and that's a known fact, and so people try their hardest to put sex into any form of media, even on the radio.
Yeah, they do. Songs.
Well, I should say especially on the radio. Is there a difference? I say no, because it's media. It's all media, whether it's games or movies or whatever. AAA titles are going to try their best to get as much attention any way they can, and if they have to put sex in their games to do it, then they will.
That's literally the cheapest, most easiest way to get people to play
Exactly,
anything.
but it works.
It works. Game of Thrones, for example.
So, should it be done? Probably not. It's sort of like, I mean, for older audiences, maybe, we're old. We can like what we want to like, and we can do what we want to do.
Yeah.
But we've got to understand that kids are watching these movies, and they are playing these games, and without proper parental control, it's going to change how they think and what they do and how they grow up and how they become
Well,
citizens.
I don't know about that. Like, I watched Game of Thrones and I watched True Blood since I was like 14. And to be honest, it hasn't really affected me in any sort of way.
Yeah, but you're 14, not 6 or 7.
But then again, I did watch that with my mom.
Yeah.
So I guess that kind of draws the line.
Well, this one kind of ties in with violence and sexualization, and it's that does sexual abuse in games change our views on sexual abuse in real life? So a lot of this I'm noticing is, do video games affect how we think in real life?
Yeah, actually that would be the main focus.
That's pretty much like a lot of these questions.
Yeah.
And semi-yes. Growing up, a lot of the stuff that I learned, a lot of my common sense came from playing video games.
Mhm.
I learned that things could be bad, dangerous, or avoidable through video games.
Yeah.
I learned that stranger danger is important. I learned that from Zelda, I think, in when the big bad guy comes out of the castle and it's like, okay, I've never seen this guy before, but he looks scary.
Yeah,
I played that when I was 5 years old, I think.
But then again, they make the characters look scary. You can't accept, like, what
You
if
can't,
someone,
yeah.
like the guy that came out with the little puppy, and he's like, oh, come see my puppy. Like, he wasn't scary, he wasn't threatening.
Yeah.
Okay, if a game has sexualized characters, are you more inclined to play the games or not?
I don't know. Do you look at games and look for attractive guys and go, ooh, I mean, except for Uncharted, and go, ooh, I'd like to play that game?
Actually, but it's not the sexualization for me that gets me attracted to a character. Like with Alex Mercer from Prototype, he was pretty attractive. And you never even saw his face, well, technically.
Yeah, you kind of never did.
You kind of never did. It was literally just, he wasn't this big heroic guy. He always wore that kind of trench.
He had the hoodie. And
the
he was
hoodie.
really
The hoodie. Mysterious, and that's what it is. It's mysterious.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess I don't look at male or female characters in games as being sexualized at all.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't see it. Like, when I see someone in a bikini in a game, I'm like, oh, they're in a bikini. That doesn't necessarily mean they're being sexualized, because otherwise there'd be freaking protests happening along the beaches.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like, God, your children wear bikinis. You can't say they're being sexualized.
Yeah. I just thought of another game, by the way, that has a lot of sexualized characters, both male and female, and it's Final Fantasy. Well, the Final Fantasy series as a whole.
Yeah.
And it's not that, like, they're sexualized. Well, I mean, some characters are, but not all of them are. It's just that some of them come off as being attractive through learning their character.
Yeah, yeah, that's the same with, like, TV show characters. At first you hate them, but then after long you look at the backstory and you see how they just developed. So I think it's more the development of the character that gets people attracted.
It makes you start to love them.
Yeah, it makes you start to love them. It's like Rumpelstiltskin, Once Upon a Time. Like, he's definitely not, like, sexualized, but he's definitely one of, what would you say, like, the best character in the TV show.
Yeah, well, he's my favorite character.
He's my favorite too. He's amazing. He's got the best development.
And I think that covers our third question, which was why are people attracted to characters in movies and TV shows and games, obviously. Is it because of how they look, or is it because of their character development? I think it can be both. You can be attracted to a character right from the bat because they're physically attractive.
Yeah,
or
bushy beard or big muscles, just the typical lumberjack, lumbersexual, apparently.
See, a lot of people hate beards though, so then it depends on personal taste.
But beard is just manly.
And whether you develop your love for characters through their development or through their physical attraction, both are good mediums to getting people to be attracted to the character that you have developed in your game, movie, or TV show.
Yeah.
And how this affects culture, I mean, it does, but it shouldn't. I think that we should be able to, as a game designer myself, I'm not just going to take the easy way and be like, I'm going to make people love my character by giving them big boobs or big muscles. I like the challenge of making people fall in love with my character through development.
Is there a character that did that? Has there been a character where they're just being, like, grotesquely ugly, but people still love them?
Well, I mean, one that comes to my mind, and it's because you never see his face, and for the first game you never hear him talk, and it's Master Chief.
I don't know who that
is. From
Halo.
Master Chief is the most iconic video game character. You see it and you go, oh, that's a guy from Halo. You never see him ever. He's a suit of armor. Most people think he's a robot, but he's not. And so many people go, that's Master Chief, he's awesome, he's my favorite character, he's so cool.
Yeah.
And they might not be attracted to him, like in love with him, maybe they are, I don't know what people are into, but it just comes to my head as a really iconic character that you never see as a human.
But you wouldn't say he's sexualized, would you?
No, definitely not.
But people love him.
Love him through his development. through the heroic actions that he's performed and the things that he's done.
Yeah.
And I could probably think of a few more, but I think we're sort of getting heavy on time.
So we're out of time. That was fun, wasn't it fun?
Yeah, it was
Actually,
good.
It was really fun.
I wouldn't mind coming up with something else for us to talk about and getting a better camera and doing this again. Like just
that would
talking
be
about
amazing.
stuff and just uploading it, because I like being able to just talk about what I think, even if what I think everyone thinks is absolutely dumb.
It's just opinions. That's
Yeah.
what it is. I mean.
Okay, cool. Bye.
Bye.